Hey guys, in this video series we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake in detail. Expect a lot of discussion about gameplay, world building, and story. Right off the bat, I find it weird that the opening isn't trying to match the original Final Fantasy VII opening as much as possible. It's a classic scene, and instead we start with something that reminds me more of Advent Children. I half expect to see Cloud on a motorcycle during this pan. Also note the original core team behind Final Fantasy VII are all back in these opening credits. Let's throw a quick spoiler warning out there too. We're going to be talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake in depth, so we're also going to be comparing a lot of things with the original Final Fantasy VII. There's definitely going to be items discussed from the original game that constitute as spoilers for future Final Fantasy VII Remake sequels. If you've never played the original game and you don't want any spoilers, this is probably not the video series for you. If you are interested in digging much deeper into this game though, hit that subscribe button and hit the little bell notification icon so you can be informed whenever I put out a future video. The kid's clothes and the look of Midgar gives me a real Gangs of New York vibe right here. Great recreation of the playground from the original game. The Mako reactor also looks amazing. This is a great transition. The Mako smoke cuts to what looks like they could be stars, which then basically does turn to an opening that matches the original Final Fantasy VII. One of the biggest things I'm hoping for in this remake is some writing and directing that cleans up a lot of the poorly explained aspects of the original story, and this is a great example. Aerith is down here clearly enamored by Mako energy, which we know is a product of the planet's life force leaking from a pipe. In the original game, we had her kneeling down before a glow that we could assume is Mako, but it was very unclear what was actually happening. Also, it's far more clear that Aerith is on the run from something in this opening compared to the original game. There goes Loveless, which is the only sign I could ever make out clearly in the original opening during this pan over Midgar. Great shot.
Get down here, Merc.
I love that you can see the materia equipped to his sword.
Halt! Who goes there?
You're up.
You're coming with us. Nice and easy.
Don't think so. Not bad. Kill me.
So you can see the enemies return to the life force after you kill them, which actually also confirms that you are actually killing these people. You can actually see the difference here. This guy that Biggs and Jesse knocked out, his body didn't disappear into the life stream.
Who in the hell? Hands where I can see them.
Have fun.
Freeze! Move and we shoot.
Go ahead. Let's go.
Cloud has very balanced stats. They're really making it so you can build him whatever way you want. Like, nothing stands out, but nothing's particularly bad either. I love the product placement throughout Midgard. It reminds me a lot of New York City. Why they have a blue apple for their apple juice though is beyond me. The name also reminds me of bananas, not apples. But coming along, we have a concert of some sort, a camera ad where the camera itself seems to be one brand, but the camera lens is made by the Shinra Corporation. Hair tonic for radiant and spiky hair. Alright, so Cloud definitely uses that. Over here in this Elegance one, I tried looking up the characters on the bottom right, but that stylized script made it really difficult. My best guess from what I was looking up is that this is hiragana. Maybe the first character is the E sound, but I'm really not sure. If anyone knows what that says, please leave a comment.
Drop the weapon.
You got this.
Yeah, what'd he say?
That's that. Was never in doubt.
I love the classic Final Fantasy villain used as an energy drink logo here. The dog on the bottom right of this bottled water ad is also going to come up later. Let's keep a mental note of it for right now. There's another poster with a lot of Japanese characters. Again, if anyone knows what that says, please leave it in the comments. I want as much information in the world building here as possible. The map of the train route seems overly simplistic. Maybe this is a main line that can be taken to local lines with more complex routes for their individual sectors. The train schedule is also very limited. Another interesting poster with a lot of Japanese characters on it. There's some English too, but the English on there doesn't really mean anything to me. So once again, if anyone knows what that says, definitely let me know that in the comments. I'm definitely curious about it. There's that ad for Loveless. We saw a sign for that earlier. It's probably a show opening on that date shown right there. To the left, we have a sign for Volume 3 of Stamp coming out. So we can see Stamp as a comic strip about a dog serving in the military. This is fantastic. If you played the original Final Fantasy VII, you know this game takes place shortly after the Wutai War, since the nation of Wutai didn't want to let Shinra Power Company put a Mako reactor in their country. This would be the war where Cloud, Sephiroth, and Zack served. It makes sense in this environment that Shinra would want to have pro-military propaganda, and what better way than a comic strip with a cute dog to win the hearts of the children of Midgar.
So what's Soldier Boy's deal? Is he one of us now? He's got balls, this, what was his name again?
Cloud Strife.
Right.
And he isn't a soldier anymore. Still, he's a professional, unlike the rest of us. I'm glad to have him.
This is a one-time gig. When it's done, we're done.
Real joy to work with, though.
Real joy to look at, too.
Here we go.
Looks are what people notice first.
Guess I'm not on the same page as people.
I'd say you're not even reading the same book. The same...
Give it a rest.
You'll keep us safe, right, Cloud?
come on. Nobody do something this crazy just for money. They may not think you're a true believer, but you know what I think?
Not interested.
What?
Wedge. You better be worth the money, Merc. Every last gil.
Barrett's tattoo reminds me of Jack Skellington. I wonder if there's a story behind this. We'll want to keep this in mind going forward and see if we get more information on the tattoo itself, or if the symbol gets repeated elsewhere. You may see me mix up my buttons every so often in combat. Combat in this game is a lot like Final Fantasy XV, which I beat earlier the same day I recorded this footage. In Final Fantasy XV, circle attacks and square dodges, but in Final Fantasy VII Remake, square attacks and circle dodges. Combat feels a lot better here than it did in 15 so far. I think it's largely due to the more close spaces that we've had in this game. The wide open lands of Lucy really meant that if you wanted to hit an enemy, a lot of times they'd be 10 yards away or more. In this game, the enemies are always just a few feet away from you, at least as far as I've gotten.
Let's do this.
Soldiers may attack on command, but I hear they make good guard dogs too. Bet you've seen a few reactors. So how do we get to the bridge above Mako storage? Ain't holding out on me, are you? Stamp scared to bite the hand that fed him?
Speaking of Stamp earlier, Barrett calls Cloud by the dog's name a few times in this conversation. It works really well. We have the imagery of Stamp from within the game world, the idea of both dogs and soldiers being loyal to their masters, not to mention the phrase dogs of war that English-speaking audiences are probably very familiar with. The phrase itself comes from a William Shakespeare line in his Julius Caesar play. More interesting, perhaps, is the novel with the same name written by Frederick Forsyth. It's about English mercenaries attacking a fictional African nation after they discover mineral deposits that the English wanted. It reminds me a lot of Shinra going to war with Wutai over the placement of a Mako reactor they want to build. Both are examples of more technologically advanced societies attacking an indigenous people in order to extract their natural resources and subjugate them.
Or is he a loyal little doggy? Have it your way, Mutt. We can do this with you, or we can do this without you.
Different reactor, different layout. Depends when it was built. Never seen one like this, but I'll manage.
Don't you worry. Biggs will have the door open soon.
I'm watching you.
In 3, 2... Damn, I'm good.
Who's there? Door! Oh, wait!
Cloud seems so bored through all of this, as if he expects it to be more fun and exciting than it actually is. Cloud's dream of what it would be like to be a soldier first class, maybe competing with the reality of his inability to find any of this exciting. I'm not confident in this idea, but it's worth keeping in mind and comparing his reactions to future conflict, or maybe comparing if we get any instances of how Cloud handled conflict before his memories got scrambled.
Let's move.
He always knows just what to say.
Cut it out.
Jesse is so damn thirsty.
I got this place covered.
It's a good thing I know someone who can get us the passcodes. Pity no one else at command will talk to us, but what can you do? And we're good.
This line, "no one else at
Careful in
command,"
there.
is really interesting. I wonder what Jesse means by "at command." The two groups that I can think of are Avalanche Command and Shinra Command. If she means Avalanche, that hints that Avalanche is significantly larger in this game than it was in the original Final Fantasy VII, and that the group we have here might just be a single cell, not the entire organization. I lean towards this option because I don't know why Jesse would think anyone at Shinra Command would listen to what is essentially an eco-terrorist organization. Yet the fact that she says this right after saying she knows someone who can get passcodes makes me think it could be Shinra Corporation. I'm curious to see how large Avalanche is in this game, and if there's someone at command in Avalanche who has access to Shinra passcodes.
Looks like the elevator's on another floor.
One of the main reasons I prefer gaming on PC over console was the amount of available keys on a keyboard. Context-sensitive button presses are fine the majority of the time, but it can get a little annoying when you want to call the elevator, but the game thinks you want to talk to Barrett.
So, you know Tifa, right? It's not really my business, but are you guys close?
This is a small and hard reaction, but we'll see the idea of it repeated. Cloud has a really hard time dealing with women. He doesn't seem to be used to their attention. I also find it interesting here that Tifa is trying to get Cloud's attention as a child. In the original game, Tifa never paid Cloud any mind when they were children. Cloud always wanted Tifa's attention, but it wasn't until he left to join the Shinra military that Tifa started to be interested in him, creating this idealized Cloud in her mind. This could just be Cloud's scrambled memories, though. We'll have to see as we get additional information. Heidegger's character design went through some big changes, and I like this a lot more than the overweight, goofy version in the original game. He was basically a meme of an incompetent fat guy in the original Final Fantasy VII. I'm also interested in the assassination attempt mentioned. I don't know if this is Rufus trying to get rid of his father to take control of the organization, or if this could have been an attempt by Avalanche, since Jesse may have hinted at a larger organization than we had in the original game earlier.
These sewer rats appear to call themselves Avalanche, sir. We are currently investigating whether they belong to the same group that made the attempt on your life. Rest assured, our inquiries will not take much longer. This pump's sole purpose is to drain the planet dry. While you sleep, while you eat, while you shit, it's here sucking up Mako. It doesn't rest, and it doesn't care. You do realize what Mako is, don't you? Mako is the lifeblood of our world. The planet bleeds green like you and me bleed red. The hell you think's gonna happen when it's all gone, huh? Answer me! You gonna stand there and pretend you can't hear the planet crying out in pain? I know you can!
You really hear that?
Damn straight I do!
Get help.
Say that again!
I'd worry less about the planet and more about the next 5 seconds. Save the screaming for later.
We'll have to wait till next time to see how the team handles actually taking the reactor out. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I love talking about game design and storytelling. If you have anything to note about what we've seen so far, please leave a comment below. And if you want to see me tackle more games, come join me on Twitch, where I stream Monday, Tuesdays, and Friday evenings. I'll leave a link in the description. Peace out.